First up, less than a week after confirmation that the closed half of the Washington Bridge will indeed be replaced by a new one, comes Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg to see it for himself. In part field trip, part photo op for eager politicians, part pep rally for frustrated commuters and business owners alike. Plenty of yellow safety vests and hard hats and local lawmakers jockeying for FaceTime and selfies to show constituents they were there today too. I'm Gene Belicenti.
Good evening. I'm Patrice Wood. Secretary Buttigieg wouldn't say exactly how much money the federal government would pitch in for the pricey project. NBC 10's Gabrielle Caracciolo is live in Providence with the Fed's role in helping to alleviate the commuter crisis. Gabrielle?
Secretary Buttigieg says the 2-year estimate for getting a new bridge built here and reopened to traffic is aggressive, but that it needs to be met. He said the federal government is going to do whatever they can to help expedite that whole process.
And Board of the Engineers noticed that again.
3 months after the Washington Bridge's abrupt shutdown, and just days after the decision to demolish the westbound bridge was announced, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg came to Rhode Island to see it for himself.
So how did the scope evolve so quickly? We saw what's going on with the beam. We saw what's going on with the need to stabilize the structure, the unique cantilever structure that led to this situation in the first place. But what this is really about is not the concrete and steel. It's about everybody who counts on it.
Current estimates say the demolition and rebuild will cost between $250 and $300 million. The federal government typically covers about 80% of that. Buttigieg says it's too soon to commit to a number.
Look, it's going to depend on the different programs that fund it, right? But we know that this can't get done without a lot of federal funding.
Over the last several years, more than $37 million in state and federal funding was spent on fixing the bridge that now needs to be demolished. So how confident do you feel in now giving more money to the state, and how do you make sure money for this project now isn't wasted again?
Well, I disagree that spending money to repair a bridge is a waste of money, and I would note that if that repair project were not undertaken, the inspections that caught this potentially deadly flaw would not have happened, and there is a very real risk that residents would have found out through a collapse, when instead it was found out through an inspection.
Bridges are regularly inspected regardless of if there's any ongoing repair work. And the last time this bridge was inspected in July, none of the issues that prompted the initial shutdown or the decision to demolish it were discovered. In fact, it was a young engineer who had made that initial discovery, not an inspection. So does that concern you? Do you think the state needs to reevaluate how inspections are being done?
Yes. Thanks very much for coming out.
What's your reaction to that?
Yes, I absolutely agree.
I think the Secretary said it well. I think that we need to make sure that we're beefing up our inspection process.
And Secretary Buttigieg blames the Washington Bridge's unique design from the 1960s for the issues prompting its shutdown and the need for a rebuild. I asked RIDOT Director Peter Alviti today about the governor's recent claims that the state should have known a new bridge was necessary 5 years ago. Alviti was transportation director at that time. He told me today he agrees with the governor, but that at the time they were following the advice of advisors and consultants. Live in Providence, Gabrielle Caracciolo, NBC 10 News.